Okay, this is how we'll make the illusion drawing of a space. So the first thing you'll need to do, of course, is to write your name. So I'll write my name in the top corner, nice and clearly so everyone can read. And also, please write your class. So we'll just make an example 5Z. Doesn't exist, but no problem. So I'm writing in the corner, and this will go on the back of your paper. So I'll flip my paper over, and we can start. So the first step is to get your ruler, and we're going to draw an X across the middle of the paper going from corner to corner. So I'll carefully line up my rulers to each of these two corners and then draw a line. It doesn't have to be perfect. As long as it's close enough, it'll still work. So I'll do the next one. And that looks good. And a straight line going down. Nice. So now I have my X, and I'm going to put a dot in the middle of the paper. This dot is called the vanishing point. It means all the objects in my room will start big, and they'll get smaller and smaller and smaller as they get closer to this point. So in our room, of course, we'll have 4 surfaces, 2 walls on either side, and the floor and the ceiling. The first thing I'll do is make a wall to go in the back. This will really start to make it look like a room. So what I'll do is I'll get my ruler, and I'm going to be careful to hold it straight across. This will be the top of the back wall. So I'll just start with one section and draw a line. An easy way to turn this into a square is just to connect one edge of the line all the way down. This should work perfectly if you hold your ruler straight up and down. So I'll keep going and bring the square all around. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. If the lines don't quite match up, you can erase and try again, or you can keep going, no problem. So I think that looks good. It might be a little wobbly at one side, but no problem. So now that the back wall is finished, I'm going to grab an eraser and go ahead and erase the center part of the X, because I don't really need to see that part anymore. Great. So now I have the beginning of my room. I bet a lot of people are wondering how I made those kinds of tiles. So first, I'll show you how to make the tiles. So I'm going to make tiles at the top and the bottom of my room. So one can be tiles on the floor and also tiles on the ceiling. So I can still see a little bit of my dot left, so I know that's the center of the paper. So I'll draw one line going up and down through the center. And oops, I don't even need to draw in the middle because that's my back wall. Now what we have to do is we have to divide this section into smaller sections. So we just need to put one dot in the middle, another dot in the middle, and one dot in the middle, and another dot in the middle. Now, this middle dot will go to the middle of the other side of the ceiling. So I'll draw a line going up, and I'll do the same on this side. So in the middle, you can just eyeball it, draw a line. Same on the floor, draw a dot in the middle, another dot, and I'll draw a line. So you can follow along with me if you want to do this kind of design. If you don't, you can watch and just see how we do it. Okay, so this is the beginning of my tiles. So I need to start drawing the horizontal lines for my tiles. So I know things that are closer to me will be bigger, and things that are farther away will be smaller. We can also eyeball this. So I'll start with the top of the ceiling and draw a straight line across, going from the beginning of the ceiling to the other side of the ceiling. And this will be the first set of tiles. So we have one line across, these are pretty big. So for my next one, I'll eyeball it and just make it a little smaller. That's good. And of course, I'm going to continue making them smaller and smaller as I go. So mine are about maybe half the size as the previous tile. Actually, I think that looks good. If you want, you could do a tiny tile at the end by drawing one more line, but I like the way that looks. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So I'll make tiles at the bottom. So a big one to start with. Ooh, that's pretty big. And then smaller ones from there on out. So one more line. This would be easier with a clear ruler, but I'll just keep going. Cool, I think that looks great. So now I have a tiled floor and tiles on my ceiling. The next thing I'll want to add is maybe some windows or doors on the side. I don't want tiles on these walls. Instead, what I can do is I can draw the same type of lines that can help me draw the doors and windows. You can call these guiding lines. So I do the same thing but on the other side. So I'll get my ruler, find my middle dot, and this time I'm going to be erasing my guiding line, so I'll just draw really lightly so I can erase easily. And I'll do the same thing, middle to middle, middle to middle, middle to middle, middle to middle. And again, these are going to be really light lines because these are just guiding lines to help me, and I'll erase them after. Okay, so now my guiding lines are almost finished, and I'm ready to start adding some cool features to my rooms. So I'll start with maybe 2 windows here. I'll make it a little harder. So for my windows, I want, let's see, 2 big windows. So I'll have this line be the top of the window, and this line be the bottom of the window. So I'll just draw one line up and down connecting them. And of course this window is closer to me, so it will be kind of big. And I'll just gently press down a little darker. I know that's my window. And look, there's already the middle part of the window. And I'll draw one line in the middle. So I don't know where the middle is with this ruler, so I'll draw a dot. Good. So now I have one window. So this window is going to be bigger and this window will be smaller. So I'll do the same thing, make the next one a little bit more narrow, like this. Just a little darker there, a little darker there, a little darker there. And of course I can't see the middle with this steel ruler, so I'll draw a dot. Looks great. So I'm happy with this side of my room. Now I can erase my guiding lines. They have served me well, but goodbye. Great. So if you want to make really any other types of things in your room, you follow the same principles. Like you could add a painting on your wall, you could add a door, things like that. So I'll quickly make a door. So I'm doing the same thing, going all the way up and down, a nice big door. This one will go up and down all the way. And I'm just going to make one darker line for the top of the door. So a cool trick when you're making a door is just to draw a straight line from the outer part of the door. It will make it look like you can go inside the room. So I'll draw one line going out. Cool. I'm actually going to continue my tile into the room so it looks like this next room is also tiled. Cool. So again, I'll erase these guiding lines. I don't need them anymore. So, of course, for your room, you can be creative and add the type of things you like in your room. But my challenge for you is try to use these same principles, these same rules, to make a realistic looking room. Of course, it's kind of trial and error, so you can experiment and see what works. Have fun!